What up, what up, what up, everybody? It's your boy DTLF here with the awesome co-host EP Jeff right to my left. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's going on? How you guys doing, man?
Ready to rock, man. And of course, my guy, Me's the GM. How you doing, bro?
Hey man, it's scary hours, man. It's on, man. Y'all know what it is.
Time to
Welcome, man.
cook,
Glad
baby.
to be
Time to
here.
cook. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Glad to have you. And of course, it ain't around the league without introducing amazing just guests, man. And for today's show, we got a special one for you guys, man. We got a content creator extraordinaire, my guy Donnie, joining the chat. What's up, brother?
Hey,
Hey, what's up?
let's
Thank you
get
for
it.
having me, Dan. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And by the way, I got to give a major shout out to my guy LOE because he already dropped a super chat before we even started, man. Hit him with that horn, baby. Hit him with that horn.
Man.
Let's
Hey,
go.
one time.
Yes,
Big
sir.
love.
And we paid for the front parking spot, man. We got to move out the way. Like, man, we got
Oh,
to move out the way.
He's getting
Oh,
on
look,
first.
we hit Jeff for one, too. Woo! Let's go.
Look at
man.
Low. Christmas is
That's
over,
my
man. Look
dog.
at Low still being Santa Claus. I got to get him again, man.
That's my
salute you,
dog.
Man, appreciate you, my guy. Low, man. Damn.
Yo, shout out to LOE for the love. We got to have him as a guest next week just for that,
That
man. That's
boy
what you
Low.
get, bro. All right. So let's kick it off, guys. Right off the top, y'all know what it is. We got to go in with the heat, man. After the game last night, LeBron was visibly upset. All right, he was pissed. When I'm talking about visibly upset, just pissed. He had to bite his tongue a little bit. And then on top of that, the GM took to Twitter at about 11 p.m. Okay, give or take. And he tweeted out the hourglass. Now, what does this mean moving forward for the Lakers in your guys' opinion? And we got to start with our guest, Donnie. Go ahead,
Yes, sir.
First, I mean, I don't really know, man. Part of me is like, maybe this means that things are going to start getting rolling, things like that. Maybe he's putting some pressure on. Part of me also feels like maybe he just be going through it, man. Sometimes, remember last year he was like, that was last year or the year before he did the whole, oh, maybe it's me thing. Sometimes he just be venting, man. So I don't really know, So I feel like I'm hopeful that maybe we are going to start seeing some things change, and start moving around.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? You're right. Thank you for bringing up that point. Last year, he said, maybe it's me. We all know it was after the failed Kyrie Irving trade that was rumored. Yeah, I mean, I like how, I like to have a superstar that voices his displeasure because I think we can connect with a superstar like that more than somebody who stays mute in the background. Mies, how you feeling about the hourglass, man? What time is it, bro?
Hey man, you see, I had to add it, man. I'm just letting them know it's scary hours, man. I think Brian, he like to do the passive aggressive thing and throw the darts out there. He letting them know my eye is on you. My eyes is on you. He knew the whole world was gonna pick that up and go with it. He's just knocking on that door like we ain't hearing nothing, man. We need to hear some rumblings right about now of something. I don't care if it's a new ball boy. I don't care what it is. Bring somebody new into this situation some type of way, man. He's just knocking on that door, checking their temperature, man. Just letting them know, man. Hey, yeah,
It's about that time.
it's about that time, man. Something. He's like, however y'all interpret it, get something done. I don't care what it is, man.
Absolutely. And listen, at the end of the day, whatever happens, it's always going to be tied up to LeBron James. That's why they call him the GM. This is around the time, that clock, we're like clockwork, right? He starts operating, he starts with the little sneak disses, man. He's out here looking like a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Jeff, bro, break it down for us, man. Bring us home with this hourglass thing, man.
He did it last night. I was walking around the house, man. I'm kind of hungry, man. Did a long stream. I was going around, man. I'm trying to get something to eat. Some part of me was thinking maybe LeBron just had something in the air fryer and it was almost done. It was like nothing. LeBron just sitting back there just trolling people. Like, let me just throw one emoji and watch the whole world go berserk here, right? I think they do that sometimes. However, I don't think that he did that this time. I think Dave McMenamin, which is kind of his guy, kind of threw out there a couple things like, time is running out in the season. Time is running out of his career. Just time, right? His whole marketing campaign against father time. Time is the most precious resource, right? So he's been relatively healthy this year and the team has been trash. So it's got to be frustrating for him. And the fact that he actually went this long before he kind of did something like that isn't usually like his move, right? He usually will start throwing tantrums earlier. So I think it's getting to the point where, or it could be the other side of it where he's like, only a matter of more time, y'all, help is coming. It's almost there. It's almost there. So I don't know what side he was kind of hinting at there. But it clearly hints that time is of the essence one way or another. And basically, the whole organization has to, maybe they know what he's referring to, maybe they don't. But it's a signal there. And then this guy comes out today and kind of talks about it more. So it's him just sending a message that he's probably already told them multiple. They probably had multiple times, multiple conversations. And now he just floating it out there again, like, I'm still waiting on that resolution we talked about. We've all had that person at one point in our life, probably. We've all been unfortunate to have a crazy person or two in our lives where, they call, you don't answer, and they show up at the door. Brian showed up to the door last night. So he was this is what he did. This is pretty much what happened. That's right.
Absolutely. I have a little bit of a different interpretation, guys, because this happened late at night, obviously after being visibly upset in the post-game interview he had in his locker. People, I see my chat and my messages, my DMs and everything blowing up. People talking about go live. Then I'm like, go live? Why? Did you see what LeBron tweeted? I look, I see just an hourglass. I'm like, what the fuck? What is this? Like, what does this mean? And then, I start putting it all together. I'm like, oh, he's not happy with the Lakers right now. So for the first time in the history on this very channel, I went live at 1 a.m. in the morning, fam. Never happened.
Hey, real quick salute to you, Dan, because when I tapped into it, like you said that like the fan was asleep, and it sounded like you was like hitting off somewhere in the cut, but you was gonna drop that bomb, baby.
I was right here
by the mic.
I was listening to it. I was like, Dan's about to drop ASMR on us right now.
That's like a hot shit and snuck the phone away to call. Like,
hey, you guys might be onto something, fam. Sexy Laker talk late at night with you.
I'm gonna bring it to you, baby. However you want it, I'm gonna bring it, man. That's what I'm talking about.
1-900 DTLF, like
you're like, oh yeah, the way he was driving down.
Oh man.
Nah, but look. This is how I feel about that whole LeBron situation. I think it's time. And I think he's letting the front office know if we ain't flipping the script and turning into contenders this season, I want to compete. I'm still averaging 25 points per game. Never been done at 40. This guy's damn near 40. He's doing it. I think he's letting them know, hey, listen, this is my warning shot. Get shit done. Turn us into a contender again. I don't care about no draft picks 2029. I don't give a you know what I'm saying? Like, he's basically telling them that I'm walking in free agency. I'm going wherever Bronny goes if you guys don't turn things around. That's what I think it was. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, putting the two things together, it just goes hand in hand. The way he looked in the locker room talking about, thank you for cutting me off. God, I wish he wouldn't have got cut off, man. But, yeah, that's how I feel about that. Now, the Lakers lose back-to-back winnable games versus the Rockets and the Hawks. Obviously, the Lakers have tons of problems in their hands this season. What should they address first? And I'm going to start with Mr. The biggest Darvin fan ham in the building. You know who it is. Please talk to me, bro.
Hey, usually I have my woo-saw in the back, but I had to go to the hourglass, man, because it's that time, man. It's getting bad, and I can't lie. The way Twitter was looking last night, man, they had to cook hams, and it was something that was like, all right, it's a little, we going on the edge now, but the fans is not with it, man. The first thing you have to address is the elephant in the room, is that man Ham. When he said what he said last night about we need to something to the effect of figure out a way to have a more defensive presence or something in the first and third quarters, and all of Laker Nation was like, what? What are you? Vando was sitting there turning over in his own grave, like, what? What are you? Come on, man. It can't get he's just piling them on. And now that the lights is on, everybody can see every miscue, every 15-0 run that happens without a timeout. And granted, that's a lot of pressure for anybody to deal with, but come on, man. It's the microcosm on him right now. The binoculars is on him, man, and it's just being exposed at the highest level. Everybody national, the beat writers is talking about all of his miscues, and he just don't know what he's doing. You can't move anywhere until that man is gone. I can't even judge this roster until we have a competent coach that can even put Rui in his place. Man, Rui's a mid-range killer, and he's just being a spot-up shooter out there, man. It's bad in all avenues with this dude, and we can't move until that elephant is gone, man.
Credit to you, bro. I thought you were premature last season when you started calling him out. I was like, damn. I was like, bro, at least let him breathe a little,
Man, when the 3-guard lineups came out, bro, and they stayed for half.
You was on that definitely, man. So credit to you. Jeff, do you agree with me? Is the coaching first, and then what?
Well, I think coaching obviously is up there, but for me, I think what the first thing is they need to get a face in this franchise again. So for me, my thing has always been when Dr. Jerry Buss, God rest his soul, passed away, or before he passed away, he put his son in to handle the basketball operation side and put Jeannie in to handle the brand side, the brand of just the Laker brand, not the basketball related on the court, but everything outside the lines, which she's absolutely great at. She's one of the best at doing that. But with her brother messing up and her having to go through all that, and then Magic coming in, and then obviously wasn't going to do that forever, right? And then leaving, it's kind of no one in that role that needs to be there. So if it were me, I would put someone in that role and then let them go fix it with Fireham, whatever it is that needs to do that. Get the face in there, get someone in there who's going to run the day-to-day of that. And pretty much at this point, anyone that's going to come in is going to want their own guy in there at this point. No one's going to walk in and when the whole neighborhood is burning and just like, okay, just let it burn. So he'll be, shout out to Usher, he'll be out there and just probably just say, get this guy out of here. Now we got a face. And not just happen now, not only is the coach gone, but the players like, oh man, there's a new boss here. He didn't draft us. He didn't trade for us. He didn't sign us. He didn't do any of this. He's here to get things right. Right. So that's the first thing I would do. I think that's the most important thing, because if you go out there and you fire Darvin Ham now, which I'm fine with, at this point, I think they have to do, because it's internal bleeding now. There's nothing going to fix this now. Even if the Lakers go on like a 20-game win streak, if he loses 2 in a row again, they're still going to come for him. There's no fixing how much the fan base hates him at this point. Right. There just isn't. So at that point,
he's cooked ham.
That's what I'm saying. So he's booked, he's cooked, he's tarred, he's roasted, he's done everything. He's just on the third. So it's like, get someone in there like who's gonna be the credibility in there, and who's gonna run that side of the business, and let Jeannie go back to what her father truly intended her to do, right? And then go from there. Because if we dismiss Darvin now, right, and then we make a trade that's whatever, then we're gonna be right here in the summer. Who are we hiring? What are we doing? Without that proper person in place, this is going to be the same thing every single 6 months. It's going to be every summer, and then every trade deadline, and then every summer again right after that, until they get some credibility in there and someone who can steer this ship. When that person gets in there, then yes, buy Ham, get him out of here, go. Jeannie did this already when she inserted Magic and Pelinka in February one year, right? So it's like, just do something like that. I'm not saying Pelinka's got to go, but Pelinka shouldn't be the face of that side of the franchise. So that would be the first thing I would do.
Okay. Hey, that was kind of sharp, Jeff. My man said roasted and everything.
Shrimp, boiled shrimp, charred shrimp.
I saw that there was a tweet that said #no pork on the fort.
No pork on the fort. Oh, man. Damn. Don't die on the swine, man.
I know you really wanted to chime in on this situation, man, on what the Lakers have to do first and foremost, man. What's your opinion on this?
So I just wanted to make sure I understood with Jeff's point. So you're saying that they need somebody that's above Pelinka in particular, like to handle that side of things, that, to basically take over for Jeannie so she could do something else.
Yeah, they need a true president of basketball operations. They need a true president. Like Rob is the GM and all this stuff, like a face and a guy who runs the show, and then Rob goes back to the day-to-day, but he's like the final decision maker. Yeah, a basketball person.
It makes sense. Everything I've ever heard from a lot of people that talk about it is that Rob wears a lot of hats. Like he handles basically everything on that side. And I think when it comes to the Lakers, there's a lot of things that you could talk about that they need, help with or changes with, whether that's from a roster standpoint, whether that's from coaching, because obviously they need that too. But I do think that it does start from the top down, because I think that I kind of mentioned this off camera. I feel like nobody's really doing their job in an adequate way from the top down. Because when you look at the hierarchy, right, it's Jeannie. She's supposed to hold Rob accountable. Rob is supposed to hold Ham accountable. Ham's supposed to hold the players accountable, so on and so forth. I feel like nobody's really doing that. I feel like there are missteps on each level where somebody is messing up or somebody's not holding up their end of the bargain. And so you wind up in the situation where you have the team floundering when it shouldn't be. I mean, realistically, if you look at the team on paper, they're fine. I mean, there could be some tweaks, things like that, but it's fine. You shouldn't be in the situation you're in with LeBron and AD above all else. With LeBron and AD and healthy for most of the season, you shouldn't be in this position. So I feel like when it starts off with Jeannie, yeah, she probably will be better off in a different role. I do want to give her credit for what she has done over the years, obviously, stepping in at that hard time and taking over and, shifting the franchise from where it was, being the one in charge whenever they did win that chip a few years back. But I also do want to kind of mention that I feel like there were several opportunities that she had over the years to really help elevate the team's position. And most of that would come from the standpoint of monetary, right? Different things and different decisions that they made, such as Caruso, for example. Everybody wants him back. They didn't have to let him go. That was a tax thing. They could have kept him and THT, who they chose over him, but they could have kept both. It would have cost them 15, 20K, I believe, or 20 million, something like that. where other owners would do that, but they don't really have the capital to do that, so they chose not to. There have been a lot of different situations like that where I feel like they could have been in a different position throughout the years. And it all starts with basically revenue. I mean, I don't want to call them, poor or anything like that, because they're not. They got money, but they are one of the more poor ownership groups, in the whole league. Back in that COVID stuff was going on, they applied for that, and then got backlash and backed out. Yeah. So like there is some of that going on. So I get it from that perspective. But I think that from her and where she's at, there have been numerous times where money was a big problem, where they have purposely done things like not employed a last player on the roster to avoid hitting certain cap numbers, things like that, or they're purposely trying to make trades or do different roster numbers to avoid certain things. Like even right now, they purposely stayed under that cap, which is fine, that apron. So that's fine, right? But I think that throughout the time that they have been going, they have had a lot of opportunities to really put a foot forward. And then from Pelinka's standpoint, sorry if I'm going long here.
No,
from Pelinka's standpoint, I think that for Pelinka, he's had a couple of really good off seasons. I think he kind of stumbled into that first one with where the Kawhi said no and they kind of backtracked. I think he had stuff laid out. Obviously, he had a plan, but I don't know that he thought it could have worked out perfectly, right? And he's not the only one that has the full say so or the full, we're going to do this, we're not going to do this when it comes to trades or player signings and all that stuff. He does still have to get, like we talked about, approval from Genie and stuff like that. He's had a couple of really good off seasons. I thought he retooled amazingly, and they really could have, back to back that next year after that in the 21 season. I thought they retooled amazingly, got some old players out that may or may not have been okay coming off of that short off season run in the bubble and all that stuff. I thought he did great then. But I think with Pelinka, he has a tendency to overcorrect with some of the issues that they have, leading off of that season into the next season. It was like, okay, they don't have enough scoring. So what do? They bring in all these older players that are just offense only. Right. And then off of that season and into the next couple of seasons, it's like, okay, we don't have enough perimeter defense. We don't have enough ball handling. So they're overcorrecting constantly. And then so into last year and into this year, it's like, okay, we don't have enough wing depth. The saying was always, oh, you can never have too much wing depth. But that's not exactly true when your wing depth is one-way players. So this year, they've got a lot of one-way players. And so you have situations where when it all comes down to it, Ham doesn't know what the hell to do with this roster. Now, I think a better coach would figure out the pieces a lot better, obviously. So that's his problem. He's just not good at that. So he doesn't have anything to do with it. So I think that this team specifically also on that side of things needs trades to literally designate where players should go, because this is exactly what happened last year, where they said, okay, Ham, we're going to take these options away from you. So you have no choice but to use these other options instead. Right. Because he was doing stupid stuff like putting Russ, Schroeder, Bev, all these players out there. And it's like these players are getting slandered, but this is also his fault, because what are you doing putting Bev on KD? Like, what are you expecting here? So, but also at the end of the day, that was a roster constructed by none other than Pelinka, right? So it just, to me, I think Ham, obviously, I could keep going on Ham for a while. I think he's a problem, but I think from the top down, there have been different choices. We haven't got to the players yet, because I think the players also are not buying in. They're not doing certain things. I think it could be hard to buy in when you see your role fluctuating, or maybe you're not getting what you were promised in the offseason if you're somebody like Christian Wood, things like that. But I think from the top down, it's been a problem.
Oh my goodness, Jeff, you got to hit that horn one time.
One time.
I believe we just witnessed a star be born right here on the
He killed it.
Usual, man. Deep free, my guy.
Yeah, I've been sitting on that for a while. I've been like,
hey, this where you vent it out, baby. It's where you vent it out.
I'm so glad we brought you in today, bro. Listen, ESPN, get this manager. You sure you don't do basketball talk for a living, bro? My goodness. Okay, man. Listen, he covered everything from end to end. I don't have nothing to say after that. But I'll tell you this. I will add to your guys, and I will emphasize a couple of your guys' points, and I'll say, at the end of the day, what the Lakers have to do is get themselves a motherfucking sense of urgency, because you know what? That's what they've been missing. That's what the late great Dr. Jerry Buss used to have. That he used to listen. I think, you know what? I just seen Me's video before I came on here live, and I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that, because he made a great point about how, the old front office used to operate, right? They always used to make sure they took care of the product on the floor. And that's what's missing nowadays. I feel like Jeannie, she cares about the city. She cares about the team. She's a wonderful, lovely person and all that good stuff. But pleasantries aside, let's be honest, she's not as hands-on with the basketball team. I don't think she has one clue what she's doing right now.
That's all Rob for sure.
Yeah. So if she was more hands-on like Dr. Jerry Buss, she'd be more cutthroat, and she would have been fired Darvin Ham after seeing what horrible this season has spiraled downwards, especially after seeing what's going on around the NBA, where coaches that are 17 games over 500 getting fired, and we have one that has both LeBron James and Anthony Davis healthy for 90% of the season, and you still one game below 500, 50 games.
Facts.
So you know what? You're absolutely right, Donnie, Jeff, and me. You guys are all right, and I just wanted to emphasize that because Donnie killed it, man. There's not much I can say.
Facts.
So appreciate you, bro.
I actually forgot to mention the the Ham firing thing. I do think Ham needs to go. I've thought Ham needed to go since he was doing stuff like putting Bev on KD. I think that it was a little bit of a mirage when they fixed the lineup for him in the end of last season and they make that run and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, also, the whole reason he isn't fired by now is because it circles back to Jeannie not wanting to pay the money to do it. And that's why I also don't think he's going to get fired. So
that's where I've been.
That's the whole reason why he's not been fired, because you can say like the Bucks did it, but she ain't got the capital they got.
Nowhere near.
So,
nowhere near.
So that's what it is. Like they could want to do it, but you got to put your money where your mouth is, right? So
yeah, y'all gonna give these trolls that say Jeannie's broke a lot of fuel.
Well, it's not she's broke. It's just she can't just throw the money away like that. So they won't even sign 10-day contract guys at some point towards the end of the season because the proration of that, or sign someone and then waive them for someone else. Like there's a lot of things they won't do with the cap structure to add to that tax. And it's because, like I said, they're not Ballmer, they're not like the Phoenix owner, they're not like the Milwaukee owner. They can't do it. So my thing all season has always been they're not going to fire him. It's not that they shouldn't have. It's just I've always known they weren't going to. You know what I mean? My biggest thing was it's not going to happen until at least the summer. Now I'm not as 100% convinced of that as I was earlier in the season. But there wasn't even a thought in my mind that he'd be fired like December, January. If it does happen, it's probably going to be after the trade deadline, right? So, but if it gets to a point where this team just continues to spiral and there's no chance, then I can see it happening during the season and just get it over with. But Donnie's right. They don't want to sit here and pay him 2.5 years to not coach when they're just going to plug in an assistant on the bench anyways. More than likely, they're not going to bring in a head coach mid-season. So more than likely, they're like, why are we going to pay him and have an assistant who's probably not qualified for this job to do this now? They just wait till the end of the season. I think in their heart of hearts, that's what they would like to get to. But like I said, the walls are crumbling around you. Eventually, that foundation, the house is going to fall. And when maybe it falls before the summer, maybe it doesn't. But I find it hard to believe that she's going to pay that he's going to serve his entire contract. But I just knew it wouldn't have been. She wasn't going to pay 3 years or 2 and 3/4 years.
Where things are kind of lost is that I think when you see other owners doing it, is like other owners are actually in a position to do it because they're not. For the Buss family, that is their business. The Lakers is their business. For other owners, that's not the case. It's almost like a side gig for them, like almost like a hobby, right? So they can afford to do it. Yeah, exactly. They can afford to do that. For the Lakers, though, the Buss family, that is what they do. So the revenue they have specifically comes from that. I know they have other investments, obviously, but they're not able to do the same thing. And I'm not giving them a pass because I still think, regardless, damn your money, do it. I don't care. Let's do it. So. But it's just more trying to be realistic. And that's why I don't think they've done it. But I do think they're going to – I don't think they're going to do it. Like, I think it's like a 50-50 thing. But if they do it, I think it'll be a little bit later on. But I think they're teetering the line because you can get in a situation where it's like, well, is it even worth it now? Because if the season gets so far gone, they could get in the point where it's like, is it even worth making trades? Is it worth doing anything?
Right. So, it's getting late in the season. Absolutely. And we're going to shift gears a little bit here, LeVar Ball style, man. I got to come up to Jeff right here. And I got to say, yo, recently, Draymond Green basically said KD doesn't belong in the GOAT combo, but somehow Curry does. And I want to bring this conversation here to the panel, man. I want to start with you, Jeff. Thoughts on that?
I mean, I think the requirement to be a GOAT is you have to learn how to drive a bus, at least, right? You got to be the bus driver, right?
Yeah.
KD's always been a passenger. So although he played great while with the Warriors, and Steph struggled at times in those finals, he was still there. The best decoy in the league. Even if he doesn't get up one shot, is still basically a Hall of Fame player in that series just by the threat of him being there, right? So to me, I've never seen KD. If he would have carried that OKC team to a championship, at least one, right? But going to the Warriors and getting those two, and then not being able to even sniff the finals since leaving there, an incredible offensive score. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or but about it. But no, he's not in the GOAT conversation. He's not. He's not G, not O, not A. There's not even a G, like nothing. It's not even halfway spelled. He's not. He's not.
What about Curry? What about Curry? Do Curry right quick.
Curry, I feel Curry is a different level than KD. Now, KD came in as a big who can stretch the floor. He can shoot. He was influential, had bigs out there shooting. Steph changed the global game, like the global game. And then he has what, 4 chips, right?
Yep.
Got 4 chips. And he was, now whatever you want to say about KD being the best player on the team at that time, Steph got them to that first chip, got them to the finals the next year, which made KD want to get there. And then he won one without him after that. So the fact that he's won 4 chips, that Golden State team was a dynasty. He was their best player, their core guy, the guy that set it off. I don't believe that Steph should be in the GOAT conversation, but he's got more than a G and O than KD does. But he's not in the GOAT conversation to me.
Okay. What about you, Mies? How you feeling about these two non-GOATs that were mentioned?
Man, hey, for all the reasons Jeff said, man, when you hop on the back of a 73-win team, man, fair or unfair, that kind of eliminates you from jumping up there with them dudes, man. I remember even at that time, that shot that KD hit over LeBron and Skip Bayless talking about this now puts him over LeBron. Like, in what planet can you join a 73-win team and didn't beat this guy? Now you're better than him. It doesn't make any sense, man. KD's gonna be haunted by that for the rest of his life. And for the fact that Steph won one after in the manner that he did, Finals MVP, solidified his spot. He's not necessarily GOAT conversation. He's like teetering on that outside top 10 for me. Maybe another one to get it there, but we'll get him there. But I'm not going to shy away from the fact that he is the main, like you say, bus driver of a dynasty in the modern era that did change the game. And we can argue whether it's for the better or for worse, but he did impact and change, like you say, the global game with his shooter. He is going down historically as the greatest shooter of all time. So I will give him his props. He didn't win all those finals MVPs on his team, but he was the bus driver for those teams. So I will always give him those props. So he will be on the outside top 10, but KD just being a great scorer, nah, bruh. If he can see, it's gonna be hard to even give him credit if he brings this Phoenix squad to there because it's a super team and it's a lot of nuances there. But KD got to get it done without them, man, or that's gonna forever be a stain on his career, man.
Banger. I couldn't agree more. Donnie, bring us home. Bring us home with the Steph Curry versus Kevin Durant debate here that Draymond tried to start.
Draymond.
Well, okay, so I think Steph is higher all time. I think that's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I think.
Wait. Let me ask you this: where do you rank him?
I was just about to say, like, I don't know exactly where I rank him because I'd have to sit down and think about it, but probably top 7 somewhere in there. Top 7, top 8. Yeah. I think if you're the greatest at something, like as integral to the game as shooting, then you should be in that range, in my opinion. Where KD is probably top 15-ish, top 20.
Facts. You're on point.
That's about where I would put him right now, just off the top of my head. So I think what it comes down to was with KD, I think he made a big mistake. If the situation was a little bit different, like I think if you go back to 2016, and you see the way that team was performing, they had that 3-1 lead and they completely choked it away. They had a 3-1 lead and choked it away. And then not only does he not win that series, he goes to the team that beat him and then goes there and wins 2 easy wins that were like predetermined. You didn't even have to watch the NBA that year. The Cavs were really good, but they weren't going to win that series. They were definitely not going to win the next year when LeBron didn't even have Kyrie anymore. So you didn't even have to watch the NBA for 2 years. So those may be, in my opinion, the cheapest rings that anybody's ever won. And that's saying something because there are a lot of cheap rings, I think, where too many players teamed up or things like that. So to me, I think that is going to hold KD back. Now, naturally, Steph would fall victim to that too, because it takes 2 to tango. He was on those teams too. He didn't even win those MVPs, right? But the last chip that he got a couple years back, I think definitely elevates him for sure. For sure.
You know what? Great take. And I'll finish it off by saying last chip actually put him in my top 10. I didn't even have Curry in my top 10. Yeah, he's barely at number 10 because people forget how many great players there have been. For me, my top 10 players, most of them play two-way, not Curry.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And KD, when he wants to play good defense, he does. At his age, he no longer does it. But when he was in his prime, like prime, young KD before the injuries, he used to actually lock up sometimes. So I give him credit for that. But I agree with you, Donnie, that Kevin Durant is top 15 while Curry's top 10. He revolutionized the game, and I don't necessarily think in a great way, because now everybody's jacking up half-court shots. But he did. You gotta give him credit, right? Like people used to say Kobe, they still do. And some of them say Curry now. Unfortunately, I don't know why.
I ain't never heard nobody say that.
I have. Unfortunately, I have. I play with these youngsters at the park.
Yeah.
These fuckers are screaming Curry, and I'm smacking them upside the head every time. Let me tell you something, man. Curry, like you said, it takes two to tango. He also helped recruit Kevin Durant there.
Yep.
And so that's why those two championships they won with KD were so watered down, because I think you said it perfectly when you said KD made a mistake, but I'm gonna say he made a mistake. Okay, because he backstabbed the team he took to the Western Conference Finals and eventually lost that 3-1 series and took the easiest route I've ever seen a superstar take ever in my life. In his prime, he joined a 72 win team. Or was it 73? 72, 73, who cares?
73.
You know what I'm saying? He joined that team in what has to be the weakest move in history, man, for a superstar to do. So I think that is what turned him into a villain. And in everybody's eyes, I don't think he'll ever be top 10, but he might. He has to win another championship. He has to lead that team to get into the top 10. I'm disappointed. He was one of my favorite out of the, Texas A&M. He was phenomenal, man, when he played there with DJ Augustine. I remember thinking this guy's going to be – I've never seen a guy like him who can handle the rock, score, play multiple positions. It's like we got like a point forward out here, man. And to me, right, he never lived up to my hype personally of what I to me, like how they wanted to say LeBron was overhyped early in his career? That's what actually ended up happening to Kevin Durant. What they wanted to happen to LeBron, the haters, is what actually happened to Kevin Durant. So you kind of have to feel for the guy there because he has immense talent. He just – I don't know. His mindset was it was different, right? And I think we penalized him because of that mindset. But the skill set was second to none. I mean, scoring-wise, he's up there with the Melos of the world.
Oh, for sure.
He's up there with some of the greatest face-up scorers for forwards we've ever seen. You could say he might go down as the greatest scoring small forward as far as like ISO ball goes. Now, we know LeBron's the all-time greatest scorer, but when I think of LeBron, I think of him as a complete player, right? I don't see LeBron and I don't see a scorer, even though he's the all-time greatest scorer. I see
Dan, you're hitting bag Twitter now. You're hitting bag Twitter now.
I'm ready. I want all this comments around the league. We don't have a tongue around here.
He's gonna get you with that face-up hezzy. There it is.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're talking about a face-up scorer, Kevin Durant got to be one of the greatest to ever be 6'10" and under. So I give him that as an elite scorer. Complete player, of course, I'm taking LeBron all day. But, at the end of the day, guys, it's sad for me to see that. Now, I got to ask you guys this. Did we all watch the travesty that was the game last night, Lakers-Hawks?
Unfortunately.
Okay, so after watching that, DeJounte Murray played great against the Lakers. He goes 24 points, I believe, 8 assists. Do you guys want him more or less on this team, and does he make a difference? And again, I'm going to start with our guest, Donnie. Go ahead, brother. Take it away.
About the same, more or less about the same. In terms of a difference, I think he would make a difference, yes, but I think his archetype would make a difference. Like this team, I know it's blasphemous, but I'm going to tell you right now, I wasn't a big fan of him when he was here, but this team really could use a player like Russ on this team. Dude, I know it's blasphemous, but let me tell you why.
I hear the bricks already, man. I can hear him.
Because one thing he was extremely good at that this team simply doesn't have was getting downhill and forcing the defense to converge on him. And that would lead to easy dump-offs for AD, LeBron when he was cutting, shooters on the wings. This team doesn't have that. Because right now, the backcourt is missing an athletic player like that can put pressure on it. Now, Reeves will get to the rim, but he's going to, combo you up and then get past you. D'Lo tries to be, all methodical. He'll get there, but they don't have athleticism. So I think a player of that archetype is what this team actually really needs. Defense, yes, but I think offensively, just an athletic wing or an athletic guard would be amazing on this team. So you can play one of those guys back there to put pressure on the defense and make them have to guard you at the rim. Because as things are now, like I said, Reeves is a great finisher. He gets by you. D'Lo sometimes can get there. Sometimes he feels like he's stonewalled, can only get to about mid-range. But that archetype, I know it's funny, it's weird to say, but I would love him on $4 million. I'd love him.
Yeah,
coming off the bench, man.
Hey, listen, you threw me off with the Russ take, bro.
I already knew because, like I said, I think his problem was like 47 million is like, but 4 million.
Yeah. No, I agree. You know what? I agree with you as far as the downhill. You know, a guard like that who's very athletic and can do some damage. I'm with you on that, my guy, for sure. Mees, how you feeling about DeJounte, man? Have you soured on him, or are you still lukewarm? How you feeling about that?
I'm still the same. I really didn't put last night's game into, that argument because D'Lo, he's been on fire. He was due for a bad game. So, and plus you can tell the whole team was pretty much done. So their performance, I'm not really putting it in context with anything other than they just kind of like the same expression we all got. So I didn't really wasn't putting too much as far as the D'Lo versus Murray situation, but we could always use an upgrade defensively, especially at that position. And he would be an upgrade defensively. Can he get hot like, a D'Lo can offensively? You kind of got to give and take a little bit. And it still comes down to how the man Ham going to use him. And that's my main thing. If he's going to be forced to be a corner spot up shooter, you'd rather have D'Lo in that context if you have Ham. So I'm still on the middle ground. I expected him to have a decent game in the 20s, but he didn't really sell me based on the fact of the situation we're going through right now, and the whole team checked out, so D'Lo wasn't even really to go at it. And it's also sad. Did you hear the crowd chanting, "We don't want you to D'Lo"? Man, come on, man. We this is cold-blooded sport, man. This ain't right, man. I feel for the boy, man.
I love that.
Remember the LeBron's gonna trade you.
Yeah. Wait, who was
Kobe's better than LeBron when he was at the free throw line, bro? It
was BI, right?
Yeah,
that was in Boston. That was in Boston.
That's crazy, bro. Like that. What's going on with Hawk fans, man? They're volatile now. Their team's losing, man. But yeah, that was kind of messed up. Jeff, same question, man. How you feeling about the DeJounte?
The same. I've always loved to have DeJounte. I've just always been convinced they don't have enough to get him. So for me, I would absolutely love to have him. And actually, what Donnie said, I actually agree with. I've said that multiple times. Russ, for this team, but with guys who can run the floor, but guys like splitting up that $47 million and going to get 3 or 4 players is what we needed at the time. But like Russ on a minimum on this team is a type of team he could actually fit in. Now with stubbornness, him and Brown, that's a whole different thing. But if we're talking about just optics with the ball, is different. But politically, the way that locker room was with him and all that stuff, that I don't know how realistic that is, but his basketball play, I think he would be playing now like he is on the Clippers if the team had more depth. We just had to break up his money to get that depth. Yep. On the second part, so DeJounte, I've always liked DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray is better than D'Angelo Russell. I wish there was a world where we could get DeJounte and keep D'Lo, and there might be. But my thing is that my feeling has been pretty much the same the whole time since he got linked to the Lakers. I want him. I would love for the Lakers to get him. I'm just not convinced they have enough to get him. Is pretty much where I'm at. But for sure, still want him here.
I agree with everything you guys said, except for Russ would be perfect on this team. Russ would be perfect on the team if he had a brain transplant, man.
No.
I said the archetype.
Yeah. That's what I said too. That's what I said. His style of play.
Yeah, his
archetype. Drive to the basket and kick it. That's something he wasn't doing. My man had tunnel vision, man. He thought he was OKC Russ when he came to the Lakers. But I get what you guys are saying. Yeah, the archetype is there. That would be awesome. Now, I'll say this, man. For DeJounte Murray, I love his contract because he's on a 4-year deal, and the CBA is going up. I think he's somebody you can add not just for now, but for the future. That's my favorite thing about him. He's not an elite defender, but he's a capable defender, right? He's got the tools to become better under the right coach. That's right, Mies. Under the right coach, right? So, the thing about DeJounte Murray I've always liked is that he has a dog in him, bro. And those are the type of players that I think, just like my guy Donnie said, we need that dog type we need that archetype that can come out here and put some pressure. And Jeff has always said a point of attack defender. I think he can be that for us. He's not doing that for the Hawks. He's not happy there, right? Just like the Lakers, they're not playing right now. Why? Because they're not happy. With whatever it is, with the front office coaching, whatever it is, they got to solve that issue. So definitely like DeJounte Murray. I think it only proved our point. There's a lot of people saying DeJounte wouldn't be a good acquisition. It's like, what? Did y'all see what he did last night? And he does that on a regular.
Yeah, anyone who said he's not a good addition probably either just hasn't seen him play,
right,
or they're just overvaluing their own players, right? So we don't live in a world where D'Lo is better than DeJounte Murray. He's just not. I like D'Lo's skill set. Like I said, I would love to see them play together, but he's not better than DeJounte Murray. DeJounte does so much. We saw in 2 possessions DeJounte be able to get to the rim like no other person we have on this roster other than Braun, right? Absolutely. And then so that's what we need. We don't just need a point of attack defender. We need a point of attack guard who can attack the other team's defense as well. He solves both of those problems. And
he's another transition guy. We don't have too many of those, right? We don't have too many guys who can get downhill like LeBron. DeJounte would be another one. So let me ask you guys this, though. Today it was revealed, right, that the NBA draft will be split into 2 days. Those dias, for the first and second round. What are your thoughts on this, Jeff? Let's start with you.
It's just a money grab, just like everything they've done this season. In-season tournament, 65 game minimum. Everything is about stretching it out. So they've got this. Everything that they're doing is geared towards their new TV deal that they're negotiating. So as when that comes in 2026, everything they're doing right now is to please these TV partners. So the 65 game rule, the in-season tournament, making the games count prior to Christmas, making sure the players are playing on national TV games, now stretching the draft out over 2 days because they see what it does when the NFL stretches it out. So it's just a money grab, and just like the play-in was a money grab. To be honest, I like it because everything that they've done from a money grab, starting from the play-in tournament, has worked out. So I'm gonna continue to trust all of their money grabs right now until they brick on one, because I didn't love the play-in at first. I love it now, to the point where when they announced the in-season tournament, typically I would have been like, man, this is trash. What are we doing it? So I'm like, I'm gonna trust them. I'm gonna trust them because they won me over with the play-in. I love that. I love the in-season tournament, not just because we won, but because the games were intensified during the regular season, and anything that gives us good basketball in December, I am with 100%. And then this one is going to give us more coverage, more draft coverage, more breakdown of these guys' games, more education on these guys coming into the league, and more times for teams to be around each other to make potential deals. So clickbait central. I love it. I'm here for it. Let's do it. Make it 3 days. Who cares? Do it.
3 days. Means, how you feeling about it, man? 2-day draft. Yo, can you hear us, brother? I think he froze out. Meese, you there? Mic check.
Okay, I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah, you're good.
Am I there? Okay.
Yeah, you're here.
Okay.
He hit us with that, it's just your boy face again. Like, what do
you Go ahead, bro. How you feeling about
I didn't hear it.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm a double what Jeff said. It's one about the money grab, but as you said, I was the old head on the lineman when it came to the plan, and it definitely switched my whole opinion around. So I will definitely give it a shot. I don't think it's too big of a deal, like it's affecting basketball, affecting the game to be too big of a deal. So I will be there 2 days in a row with the popcorn. Definitely gives us more content, more things to talk about in the summertime. One thing I am interested to see is the first night going to be like the first half, and the second night is like all the bottom tier players? I mean, that's going to be interesting to see how they figure that out. But maybe it gives some of the lower tier players more exposure and an opportunity to be on a team. Now we get a chance to know them, and teams get a chance to know them. So I don't know. It's definitely got to be a win-win, and gives us 2 days to get on here and talk some ish, man. So I'm not mad at it. Let's get it.
Absolutely. Donnie, how are we feeling about it, man? First, second round separate.
I was gonna ask that. So like first day is round 1, second day is round 2. Okay. Well, that actually is I think really good. I think Jokic got drafted during a Taco Bell commercial.
He did.
I think that tells you everything you need to know. So I think that's all I need to say. Like I think that the second round pick thing is cool. It might help teams find more players if they have a little bit more time to think about it, things like that. I don't know that a lot of people are really thinking about it from that aspect, but in terms of what Jeff was saying, Mies was saying, the money grab thing, I don't think it's nothing wrong with it. Obviously it's just more content, so I'm cool with it.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Everybody loves it. I'll give you guys my take in a second. Marcos, appreciate the super chat. Bro says Rui should be traded. He has no role. Our best lineups are with Vando. We should go for Grant, keep D'Lo, and try to get Caruso or Dennis. Oh man, it'd be tough for me to trade Rui, man, because he's been, like you already said, he's been underutilized. I'm hoping he outlasts the coach and next coach comes in and starts him or some shit. Like that would be awesome for me. How you guys feel? Quick chime in on it.
Hey, I'm
You go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm with just what you said, because that's been my thing going back and forth with the roster. Rui has not been anything close to what any of us thought and what he's actually capable of being when you have a horrible coach in charge. He'll be averaging 18 points a game on any other team. I'm not trading that away because the man in charge can't utilize you. He's the problem, not Rui. I'm not letting go of Rui like that.
I think that Rui's problem, other than him, is that he's LeBron's backup. So there's not a lot of time that they're on the floor together. So like going into the season when LeBron was projected to be playing 30 minutes instead of, I think he's averaging 35, but recently he's been racking up the minutes. All that does is take minutes away from Rui. So I have no problem with however much LeBron thinks he needs to play or how much Ham thinks. I don't care about that for the most part. I believe in having your best characters on the floor, but I think that's Rui's main issue, similar to what Kuz's was back then. It's like, Kuz back then is like, okay, well, you're backing up LeBron and AD. How are you going to get minutes, really? So above a certain threshold, like you're probably going to max out at 2025. So with Rui, another issue with him is lack of foot speed. It forces LeBron to play in other positions where he has to be rotating a little bit more than he obviously wants to do. So it's kind of hard to have these players on the court at the same time, unless you're going to go small ball where you have one of them at the center. Things like that. So I think that's Rui's problem. As for the rest of that, I don't mind getting players like Caruso or Dennis, but I'm definitely not going for Grant. That contract is disgusting. I don't think he's worth it personally. But I think you could find other players that may fit a little bit better.
Awesome. Great takes. Jeff?
I agree with everything they're saying. I'm going to add to it. So yes, not only is it just Ham, not only is it he's LeBron's backup, not only can he not guard wings or centers, but the same problem he had in Washington, he's having here, and is that he can't stay healthy. So he missed the majority of the first half of the season. So if LeBron's primary backup isn't available, and you've got a 39-year-old, and they're torn about D'Lo, and if it's not, it doesn't end up being the DeJounte Murray trade, there is a very possible world where Rui is out of here.
It has to be Rui.
Yeah, because there's only really a couple of guys you can move that's going to get you any type of value. It's going to be Austin, D'Lo, or Rui. Now you can move Gabe, but it's going to cost you more to move him because he can't help anyone right now. Now, if it's a team that's going nowhere, they probably would take that money. That's a whole different segment, right? So, but Rui, I like the closer we get to the trade deadline. If I'm Rui, the more nervous I'm getting. Because the way D'Lo's been playing, and like I said, you could bring a new coach in there. He still can't guard wings, and he's still going to be Bron's backup. So you have to figure out. You bought low. If you have a chance to sell high and get a piece that you could use, you have to think about that. Rui. Yeah,
the thing about Rui for me is I feel like he's a good coach away, because if somebody comes in here and tells him, Rui, you're sensational, get rid of the tunnel vision. Once you get down the lane, you got 3 on you, kick it out. That's like the only.
He never passes.
Yeah.
His idol was
I got to get mine.
You have to know when, right? This guy always got to be like, man, he if you really studied LeBron, he didn't study the passing. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
No, I watched Rui. His head is literally either down or at the basket. He ain't looking at nothing else.
You know what I think? I think he got the Incredible Hulk mindset where he feels like he can smash everything. He's so
Rui too. He kind of reserves himself until the playoffs, and then he pushes himself to another level. Like playoff Rui is a real thing, but we need some regular season Rui.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, Chris, glad we could be of assistance. Yes. Brother. Can't wait to have you back. Chris. Yeah. Yeah. That being said, great takes on the Rui thing, man. Great question, by the way. My guy Don Terrio says, "What's good, fellas? I'm headed to Columbia, South Carolina, while listening to y'all. We appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you.
Roll safe.
Eating brisket, traveling down the road down there. What's going on, brother?
Hopefully they have a Wendy's down there for you, bro.
Wendy's in sight. He got a ping on the like, he's ready to go.
Somebody in the chat said Ham the type to eat orange pills. Oh man, I'm saving that, man.
I'm tired of ham sandwiches. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Look, okay. Luka Doncic recently went off for 70 points, ladies and gentlemen. All right, against the Hawks the other night. Are you guys impressed by all these 70-point games this season? Is it a huge problem for the NBA? They need to address and implement defense once again because they've taken that shit completely away, in my opinion. I want to know what your guys' take. Let's see who went first last time. I lost track of the order, man. Whoever want to go first can go first. We'll mix it up.
I lost track too. I don't even know.
Let's let our guests go first. Go ahead, Donnie. Take it away.
I'm kind of torn because, for one, I like it. I like seeing these big numbers, right? These crazy big number scoring games are kind of cool to see, especially when you go back and you either watch the game or you watch the highlights and they're just making everything. I love it. I don't really love it when it's like you took 40 free throws, things like that. But I'm also not like terribly impressed because, like you were saying, I don't know that it's that they legislated defense out as much as it kind of seems like. I think it's that, yes, but I also think that nowadays when you look at basketball, you got 5 players on the court that do multiple things: dribble, shoot, pass. Everybody can do it. So that means that this other guy has to stay home. You can't do all these different things because if you try to send a double, swing, open 3, you try to do all these different things, it doesn't work the same. So I think that that's why this is where it is. And that all kind of circles back to, I don't know about more talented or anything like that in terms of like comparing players today versus players of old, but they're definitely more skilled, right? Because again, back then you would have players on the court that couldn't do 1 or 2 of these things. Now everybody does everything. So since that's the case, you have to stay home. You have to manipulate defenses differently. And there's so much more matchup hunting and all these different avenues of the ways that teams and players are attacking different setups. You'll get Luka. He's going to get the big on him. He's going to just cook him easy all night. So like, there's not a lot you can really do. Now, I think that at the end of the day, though, if you want to stop a player from hitting a certain number, you can't just say, screw these other guys. We're going to take you out of the game. We're going to take doubles, triples. We're going to get you out of the game. So I think that when we see players like start hitting 75, things like that, I think that happened with Luka, actually, where DeJounte got on him. They started doubling him, trapping him. Like, nah, you're not getting 80. You're not doing this and that. So, like, it's impressive. But I do think that I said all that to say I think that it's going to keep happening because they have incentivized offense, with things like the 3-second rule, things like that. Although I will play a little devil's advocate because I also think defenses are more sophisticated today because you can do other things that you simply couldn't do back then. They would be called illegal. If you watch any footage from back then, they're playing the most basic defenses. They couldn't zone. They couldn't do traps. They couldn't do all these other things because it would be illegal. So I think that a little bit devil's advocate, but they have incentivized offenses. They are doing a lot of things. So to kind of circle back, I think it's cool. It's not surprising. But I think that the market for that is people that like to see big numbers. So
yeah. You know what, man? Great double-sided take right there by my guy D Freeman. He's killing it today, fam.
My dog.
You're taking my breath away, and I mean that in the most respectful way, bro. I'm trying to. He took all my points, and I'm like, okay, I got to recalibrate. All right. I'm gonna stop letting him go first. That's bro. Good shit, man. Listen, absolutely great. Meese, tough act to follow. Go ahead, take it away, my brother.
Hey man, I think it's a beautiful thing, but it shows you the Curry impact and that 3 ball, man. Guys is getting hot, especially when they play us with the drop covers, man. Ain't nobody guarding the 3 ball, so they getting in the rhythm, dropping 8, 9 threes, man. These 3-point records gonna be just obliterated, man. But Luka Doncic, he's just a different animal, man. He's one of the few I've seen since maybe Kobe and going all the way back to Larry Bird that would talk that itch in your face and hit the shot and then laugh at you all the way back down the court. You don't really see those dudes no more. And a lot of the shots, some of these guys are getting wide open lanes, but a lot of these shots, Luka is getting his step back threes, and these are difficult shots to get. And when he gets in the rhythm, he's a nightmare and still giving you 10 to 15 plus assists and 10, 12 rebounds on top of that. I don't know what angle you can come to stop this dude, except the only one I've seen defensively to ever even impact him is Vando, and we still didn't start him against Luka this year. So that's a whole nother conversation. But no, I think it's a beautiful thing for the league. And at some point, though, they're going to adjust because I remember that conversation with what's the boy with Kevin Garnett and Man, Stern and Stern, not Stern, the other guy.
Silver.
Silver, sorry. And they was talking about how, the game was getting a little too physical and all the things he did to open up the game offensively. And he asked him, is there a day we're going to see the hand checking come back in? It's a great conversation they had. They've done everything to cater to the offensive player, which kind of just eliminated defense. So hopefully that starts to make its comeback over the next few seasons, man. But no, I think it's a beautiful thing as of now.
Okay. Before I go to my guy Jeff to bring us home, Shan says D'Lo, Rui, Jalen Hood-Schifino, a minimum plus 1 or 2 picks. AC, Reeves, Bron, AD, Vucevic, bench, Lowry, Torian Prince, Vando, Pat. This is a long. It's a long.
What's going on?
I think he's trying to say D'Lo, Rui, JHS, a minimum player like Hayes or Reddish. That'd be going out plus 1 to 2 picks for Caruso, Vucevic. And then Lowry maybe in a buyout. I think he's just talking about his wishful scenario, but I don't know how the order of when she has this happening.
Brother, but this is a lot to take in, man.
He did say fire him at the end, though.
Yeah, send me an email, Chad. I'll structure this for you.
110% agree, brother. I like the last part. You said fire him. We with it, brother. We on there. All right. My guy Jeff, go ahead and bring us home about the offense versus defense, man. How you feeling about it?
Okay, so I love offense. I love offense, but I really love defense. But I really, really, really love the league being successful. And so what the league is doing is they're trying to sell to their base, which is the average fan doesn't love defense like some of us love defense, right? They want to see a run and gun game. They want to shoot it out. They want to see games in the 125 to 140 range. They want to see that.
All-star
Yeah, they want to see that, but an all-star game that has a little bit, at least these games appear to be competitive, where an all-star game doesn't even appear to be, right? So it's like they're trying to add that pace and speed that pace up. The problem is the injuries. You got guys now trying to play through. Look what happened to Joel Embiid, trying to play through that 65 game in this pace with that scoring. I love what Luka did, getting 73 points on 33 shots. I do love that. I think that's impressive and incredible. I don't care what era you're in. If you're scoring 70, that's impressive. Now, it may not be as impressive as Kobe's 81 because different type of defense, different type of league. May not be, it's a different level to it. But in his era, like if there's still only 6 guys, I think, in history that have scored 70. I think 6. So the fact that if any of those guys are one of them, that is impressive. Now, I do believe that 81 that Kobe got it's any day someone's going to be able to be knocking on the door of that. But it's not going to mean the same because the defense is not played the same. But I do love the offense. I wish we had a little bit more defense because it makes the games more competitive. You get more guys in the league who can actually play that role, and you get more balances on teams because you don't have to go out there and try to get 3 or 4 stars where you can score 140. Go get 2 guys who can check 2 of those guys, and now you have a balanced game. That's what I think the game is truly missing. But because the thing is, we all talk about positionless basketball, but that's on offense. When it gets on defense, you got to have positions. You got to have someone that can rebound. You got to have someone who can guard the wing. You got to have someone that can guard penetration, right? You have to have all that on defense. So we can have a bunch of guys who can handle the ball and shoot the ball on offense. But when you get your ass down the other side of the court, who you checking? And that's where the problem with the positionless basketball is. It is only one side of the coin. But outside of that, it's entertaining. I love it from that standpoint. But I prefer my NBA game like when 115, 120 was like the high scoring. Like, oh man, we dropped 120 on them. Now it's like anyone can drop 120, and I just think it doesn't. It waters down the game a little bit, in my opinion. I wish every NBA team look, we need like 3 or 4 really
good defenders,
good defensive guys, solid bigs, good defenders, and like make the game more competitive again. But at the same time, we all watch these games when they're cooking, though, and that's why they're doing it.
Yep. Well, basketball, to add to all you guys' points, man, basketball is always going to be entertaining. I don't care if we put a 4-point line, even though I'd hate it. What I'm saying? It's always going to be entertaining. My only fear is that it turns into Space Jams too. What I'm saying? That's my only fear for basketball. And it's like, let's not change too much of it where we don't recognize it in 10 years from now. You know what I mean? Like, I like these upgrades. Like the in-season tournament has been a success. The play-in tournament has been a huge success. But let's not go adding too much to it, right? Like I'd hate to see, like I said, a 4-point line and stuff like that. Now, you're right, Jeff, because I was going to say that. I think the league has to do a better job of incentivizing the all defensive teams. We know it's all NBA teams that are getting paid a lot of money. How about we up the ante for these defensive teams, right? The all defenses first and second. How about they become eligible for big contracts?
And defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So I think that's the solution right there. Like let's up the ante and maybe my guy Stanley the Manly Johnson can get a job finally, because the league is turning their back on offensive players because of these high scoring things, on defensive players, should I say. Like where in the past Vanda would be a primary target for teams. They'd be salivating over somebody like Vanda or Stanley Johnson. Now these guys are afterthoughts for a lot of teams because they rather get a guy who can drop 30 and then give up 40 than somebody who can actually lock up and only averages 5 to 10 points a game. They're trying to put butts in seats, right? So that's a huge part of the problem for me. And I hope that it gets solved, at some point. And I think it will, because you know what? Every record is going to get broken at this point. We start averaging 140 to 150 a game. Every record is going to get broken, and it's not going to feel special anymore.
Yeah, at some point it's going to be watered down. 10 to 15 years ago, Vanna would get like 50 to 60 million. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Also, to your point, that's an excellent point, Dan. You notice, they have 3 All-NBA teams, but defense they stop at 2 teams.
Yeah.
So not only do they not incentivize it, but they limit the amount of people that make it. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's an excellent point, because if they incentivize that, guys will put more work on it, more focus on it. Because look, I'm not going to be one of these top 15 guys on an All-NBA team, but I can go check these dudes. I can pay attention to defense. I can get my bag and get my name out there for making one of the 3 teams that guarded these dudes and win an award for that. That's an excellent point.
So that's the key right there. I think they need to incentivize defense and things will get better. But you guys are all right. The offense has evolved over the years. And like my guy D Free said, man, every team has like 4 or 5 floor spaces. It's really hard to lock in on that team when they're moving the rock around and finding the open man every single possession, right? So my guy Shan finally clarified his trade.
Let's see.
Let's put the commas in there, but we're going to try to decipher this one. All right. So D'Lo, Rui, Jalen Hood-Schifino for AC, Pat, Will, and Vucevic buyout Lowry. I mean, it sounds good, bro, but it sounds great. But I'm not sure if the money works. I'd have to see.
I don't know. But I don't know why they would do that, though.
Yeah. So D'Lo, Rui, JHS. So AC, Pat, Vuk. So you're looking at Lowry buyout. Okay, that's kind of, we don't have to worry too much about the money there. Vuk is 20. Caruso's 9. Pat, I have to look up. I think he's still on his rookie deal. So let's call this roughly, let's say with everything all in, roughly 40, maybe close to $40 million for those guys. While I love the Caruso part, I don't love the Vukovic part. I don't need a guy playing next to AD making north of 15 million. That's how I see it. That's why I don't like Capella. I don't want a guy that's going to be a luxury big making $22 million a year. You know what I mean? So I don't like that. My number one target, if I had a choice, would be Caruso. Like if I had a choice to say, who do you want on this team that can make an immediate impact? That would be Caruso. Plus the money for a variety of reasons. Already played with Braun. There's so many reasons to want Caruso. So having his name linked there, like I love that. Vooch, like I said, I don't know if he really solves the problem with the Lakers. They need a bruising big. Vooch is not that dude.
I like Vucevic for floor spacing purposes and the fact that he could bang down low. But like you said, he's not really a defender. I actually like Capella better because he could actually clog up the lane, set some big ass screens, you know what I'm saying, and clear up some people. So, I mean, he would be a better asset. What you guys think on the bottom, man? What you guys think about this potential trade?
I don't really care much about I think having a floor spacing big like Vooch could be cool. Like that, again, that archetype word again. I don't know that you need Vooch specifically, though. I don't think they're giving up Pat Will, and I think Caruso's price is very high. They're asking for a lot. Dude, $9 million, it just took me back. I'm like, bro, they did not have to let him go at all. He could have been here. But again, that $9 million is more than $9 million when you consider the taxes. But
the repeater tax was chunky that year. So
that's why they let him go, because they're like, we're not paying that. But still, they didn't have to. But anyway, moving on. True. I think Jeff hit it with the luxury big thing. Like, okay, you can have the argument about whether AD is or isn't a center. For me, I know you guys, I know at least Dan doesn't think he is. He thinks he's a power forward. For me personally, I think AD is a center. If you look at all of his numbers, he's always played best at center. If you look at his positional information, he's played primarily center, not just the last couple of years, but even his last couple of years in New Orleans. And then when you talk about banging, I don't mind having a player like that, but who are you really banging with? like 4 or 5 centers in the league. So
Man,
when you look at stature of players, AD is a center by literal stature. He's 6'11", 260. He's one of the biggest dudes in the league. Why wouldn't he be playing center?
Listen, if we get a big body like Clint, we're banging with everybody.
So, and I was going to say, I really like the way Clint was moving in the other game, but I don't think he's the right price point. He's too expensive.
That's my point. Yeah, that's
the problem. So like you could have a player like that. But he would be a player that would be luxury. You deploy him in specific matchups. If you go back to the title season, JaVale was playing, and there were series in the playoffs where they didn't play. And like versus the Nuggets, it was like the white plug-in.
Marcus Morris played.
Yeah, and Marcus Morris was playing a lot too. As like
who neutralized.
But again, like you said, situationally, not until we got to Denver. Not until we got to Denver.
Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot win a championship. Listen, the blueprint has always been that 2 dominant big man. Always. No matter how
when it hit the fan, though, who was the center?
AD.
It was AD every time. In the playoffs, it was AD every time.
Look, this is what my only counter argument to that is: for the longevity and course of the season, we need players like Capella, like Dwight, big bodies who can set the hard screens, get the rebounds, and bang down low to take away some of that.
I don't want him banging. I don't want him because like
we agree with that, but not for $22 million.
Yeah. So like my point is like I don't.
So I don't care what they spend it.
No, we're not spending out of pocket, but we'll be up here complaining about not being able to fix the team because it's so much is tied up into that money. So it matters. So it's like $22 million to a luxury big is extreme. Like,
but let me ask you this: does it matter if we win a championship? If we get this big man, he makes all the world of a difference, and we end up winning the championship. It won't really matter at that stage. At that point.
No, but how are you filling out the rest of the roster? Like, is my thing is that big more important than defensive wings or guards in this league? When
I feel like we have plenty of defensive wings, they're just being misutilized. I don't feel like we have a good backup big or somebody to put alongside AD. So we agreed on most of this. That's the only point I'll disagree with. Capella on this team, I think would be great if we can find a cheaper version of that. Even better, right? Like we talk about the Daniel Gaffers, we talking about certain other potential trade partners, but I'm just talking about face value. If you bring in someone like Capella, put him next to AD, even if you bring him off the bench, right? You like him at center. I like him at center in the 4th quarter. I don't like him at center the first 3 quarters, as far as AD. He's versatile. He can play any position as far as the 4 or the 5, but I'm just talking about his longevity. This is the main reason I've always wanted to trade for another big, because I thought it was going to be Christian Wood, to be honest with you. And I don't mean as far as like a shot blocker or whatever, but somebody who can help space the floor and just do some of the dirty work down low alongside AD. We haven't really had that since the championship season. And my biggest issue with that is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Where did we go away from the 2 big man lineups?
I think they went away because of LeBron, though. I think as LeBron has gotten older, he's transitioned to being more of a 4. He can play the 3, but that naturally forces AD up a position. And it also, we talked about other players like Rui, it makes it harder to have 2 bigs out there, like one being AD and somebody else, because it forces LeBron down a position. And I think that's the problem. You don't want him running around.
So you don't want LeBron as small forward is what you're saying, right?
Well, I think that's the internal thinking. I think LeBron can run out at any position he wants.
Right. My only disagreement with that is if you have 2 bigs in a lane clogging the paint, you won't get as much dribble drive penetration. So then LeBron really just has to guard a little bit of the perimeter and some of the mid-range shots in between. Right. Yeah. So if anything, I think that would make it easier for LeBron to guard, because most of the time when he's playing the 4, now he has to meet people at the rim, which also risks injury. It also makes him a banger down low. So I get the concept. I've never in my life been a fan of small ball. When was the last small ball team to win a championship? Right.
A couple years ago.
Right.
Warriors won multiple.
Wait, but the Warriors are an anomaly because they can play that style of small ball. That's the problem. Not everybody in the league is the Warriors, right? The Warriors are the anomaly. They're the exception to the rule because they have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, who are master manipulators of defenses and can space the floor. And then they had all these other Hall of Fame talented players, right? You got Draymond in there as the backbone, he's a small big. Whatever you want to call him, he can get scrappy. He gets away with some of these fouls and stuff because the league refuses to call those calls, right? And so they got away with some stuff over the years. But they still had that, hypothetical big man. What was his name? Kevon Looney was there. Before that, they had that other big man enforcer. What was the other one's name?
Bogut.
And then there was another one that Maurice
Festus Ezeli.
Festus.
Yeah, Festus. Even the last year they won it, they had Bielitsa, I think. I think he was like a 7-footer.
No, they had what's his name? Jaja Pachulia.
There you
Oh
go.
yeah, they also have Pachulia.
But
Yeah.
at some point, they pull these guys out for specific series, and I think that's what we were lacking big time last year when we went up against the Denver Nuggets. Is that the last time we beat them, and I know they've changed, they evolved, and got better. But let's be real. Like since Darvin Ham didn't even try Tristan Thompson, right? We really lack that big bruiser big, and I still want that big. I know it could Christian Wood could fill some of that role offensively, but not defensively.
He's not a bruiser big.
Jackson Hayes could play the JaVale McGee role.
He's not a bruiser big.
To feed into what you're saying, Dan, most of their lineup data suggests that they should be playing Christian Wood alongside AD. They should be doing that. Most of their lineup data is saying they should do it. My only thing is like, if the league is playing small, but how small are the Lakers really when they roll out AD at center, LeBron at power forward, or even if they go LeBron, Rui, Vando, are they really all that small? I don't.
It's just that they're playing out of position, in my opinion. I don't think LeBron
that part.
That's fair. He's always been a small forward for me. Point guard.
One of the worst kept secrets in the league is AD is Bron doesn't want to play the 3 more than AD doesn't want to play the 4. So Bron does not want to play the 3 anymore because he doesn't want to chase wings and people around the perimeter. He doesn't want to do it. So it's and if you look, LeBron has been primarily a power forward the last 2.5, 3 years. Like there and his when he's out there on the perimeter playing anything other than that. Now he can play point guard, he can play 3, he can do that all offensively. That's fine. But it's the defensive side of the ball. It's disastrous. And
but
so that's
even if LeBron, let's just say LeBron doesn't want to play 3, right? Fuck it, I put him at the 1. I put him at the 1, and yeah, you got to be chasing guards, but really, you just got to run him off the 3-point line. Once they dribble, drive, penetrate, if you got 2 rim protectors, you're going to contest shots. You're going to get rebounds. You're going to impact stuff, right? So you really don't have to chase him that much. The only thing he has to do is either go under or go over the screen. That's it. That's all he has to decide to do. Depending on what shooter he's guarding that night, we can. If I was, again, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a professional head coach because I'm not. But if I was coaching LeBron, I'd really be playing him at the point guard, except for when he's going against an elite guard. Then I would do what the Warriors do with Curry. What do they do with Curry? He's not an elite defender by any means, so they hide him. They'll throw Clay on him. I would do the same thing with LeBron. LeBron, you guard Seth Curry in the perimeter, and somebody else go guard Steph, right? LeBron, you guard, whoever else is starting alongside the star player, and it shouldn't be that hard. And he gets burned a couple of times, so be it. We'll take the risk. But I still don't think the Lakers win a championship without a 2 big man lineup. Even if it's not starting, we need one as a backup, as an enforcer.
I think everyone agrees with that. But we need a bruising big. I mean, but we absolutely do. But in order to improve the other areas in the team, that's the only thing is getting a $22 million bruising big. We can't improve the other areas which we're worse at, which is perimeter defense and shooting. So it's hard because that's what makes the cap tough. Is because it would be ideal if you could go give me one of these, give me one of these, give me one of these, give me one of these. But you're kind of boxed in to try to pick and choose. Where are you going to find that value at? They thought they would get that in Christian Wood, right? And whether it's Darvin, whether it's Christian Wood not being ready, whatever side you're on, like with that, right? They know it hasn't truly worked out yet. So, but he's still not a bruising big. Rui is undersized. Jackson Hayes is too light, and he's lazy half the time. So it's like, so I do agree. They need someone out there that can take the burden off of AD and the burden off of Bron if Bron is playing the 4. So we absolutely do need that bruising big type. It's just where my thing is has always been, where are we going to find that guy in the realm that's going to fit the level of play that will allow us to fix the bigger holes on the team? That's the struggle right now, and that's Rob Pelinka's job to figure out. Because if we can get the best thing in the world is they go and get all these trades, and then they somehow, by the grace of the basketball gods, land a bruising big in the buyout market. That would be the best thing that could happen to them, because if they can fix their perimeter via trade, or they get to a point where they get down to 13 roster spots, they fix the perimeter mostly, and then they can add a wing like Gordon Hayward and a big perfect scenario there, right? That would be the best. But as far as trading for a big, I don't think any big that we could trade for, I don't think any of us would agree to that deal if it meant what we weren't going to have or what we'd give up, like a Vukovic, like a Capella. That would be our biggest move. Like if we come out of the trade deadline and Capella is one of our biggest guys that we acquire, I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy. You know what I mean? So,
I'll tell you who intrigues me right now, and I think he has a pretty decent contract, is Xavier Tillman from the Memphis Grizzlies. He intrigues me a ton. All right.
I love Tillman. Tillman.
Somebody like that who can go under the radar a little bit. If they're sellers in the buyout market, or should I say in the trade deadline, I'm intrigued. My guy Marco says that's why I think Grant will be perfect. He makes $27.5 million. Is better version than Vando. He's better than Rui, and he can defend multiple positions.
Thank you for this. Thank you for the super chat. but he doesn't play anywhere near the defensive Vando plays. And you're getting Vando over 5 years for less than a mid-level exemption annually. That's a steal. I love Jeremy Grant as a player, but he's not as good a wing defender as people think. But he can score. He can score the rock. He can score the ball. He can absolutely score the ball. I like Jeremy Grant.
Absolutely. No, Jeremy Grant would be a great get. I would be happy.
Hey, on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the center side, I would love to go back and get my man who we had last year, Mo Bamba back. I'd love to get him back on a cheap contract and let him clog up the paint, stretch 5, block some shots, but we never really used him when we had him. So it's tough,
He was
man.
always hurt. He was staying hurt.
I wanted Tristan. I wanted Tristan Thompson, to come back. I thought he had an excellent showing at the end, and
he should have definitely been back.
Yeah. Jamaican Me Crazy. Love the name, by the way. Thank you so much. She said, not even a Laker fan, but I love this channel. Salute to you. Thank you so much.
Hey, you get the flex just off of that. You know what I mean?
All right. So final question, guys. Final question. Actually, I got 2, but I don't know if I could fit them in here. 96 or the 2003 draft. Which one do you guys think is better? All time.
Oh, man.
Now, remember, the 93 draft has AI.
Yeah, 96. Yeah, I know 96 is deeper. 2003 is very top heavy. 1996 is deeper. Bar
96 all day.
Bar none. Yeah.
How you feeling, my guy?
I'm agreeing. 96.
Yeah, 96
is crazy.
People forget, man.
I like that 03 draft though.
I love the 03 draft.
It's hard, right? It's hard.
They didn't stretch into the 20s like 96 did.
Yeah. 2003 is definitely top heavy. They had them, but they were definitely top heavy. 96.
You want to talk about depth? You want to talk about depth? Who was drafted 13th in 96?
Kobe.
Hold on,
that's depth.
Listen, and Steve Nash was up there too in like the 15s, 16s, man.
I mean, you had Jermaine O'Neal, you had AI, you had Kobe, you had Nash,
Ray Allen,
like Ray Allen. You had so many guys.
Marbury,
Marbury,
Ray Allen
in that draft. There was an
Antoine Walker.
Was Camby?
Yeah, Camby got drafted by Toronto.
Camby had a very good career.
Antoine Walker.
Yeah, that draft is.
We ain't mentioning no Celtics over here, me.
I think that draft might be. I know the 84 who came out of that. I understand that, but 96 I think might be the best draft in history.
96, I think it was 96 for sure. That's the one that made me fall in love with basketball, man.
And think about this,
Lorenzen Wright was in there too. And think about this. 96 had to be the greatest Laker summer of all time. We draft Kobe, we draft Shaq, and we sign Shaq. Think about that. That's nuts. I don't think we'll ever see another offseason like that for the Lakers.
And the way that came together was the way that all came together was so incredible. I remember that like it was it, man. That whole put together of that whole thing.
Yeah,
was nuts. Yeah.
Yep.
And a little sleeper.
You said what?
A little sleeper. Ilgauskas. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was in there too.
Ilgauskas was in that draft.
Yeah, that draft was crazy.
Forgot about that.
All right, we're almost gonna wrap it up, guys. Final question, rapid fire. All right, let's play a game. I'm gonna name the position, and you guys tell me who's the best player in that position in today's game right now. Okay, you guys all just chime in. All right, so let's start with the point guard. Who's the best point guard in the game right now? PG. Whatever comes off the top, man.
There's a lot of point guards now.
The point guard position.
That's the hardest one to do.
Yeah,
I have to say at the point guard. So when I think point guard, I'm thinking Indiana. My man, Tyus.
Halliburton.
I had to say Tyus.
For point guard, is Luka playing point guard? Technically, yes, right? I'm going Luka.
Luka, you can go with Luka.
Okay. Oh, but then I can't even I'll go that. Luka then too. Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, that's blasphemy. If not, because it's hard to see Luka in that position, but he is. It's Luka all day.
I think that's the general consensus. Luka. Yeah. Chat, I mean, get involved.
Kyrie's the 2 on the team, so yeah, Luka. I'm going Luka.
All right, shooting guard, best shooting guard in the game. I'm gonna start with Ant-Man. I feel that way already. I can't put nobody over.
Man, I'm very, 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 very high on Ant.
Anthony Edwards. I can't think of a better one.
And he's a 2.
He's a 2. Yeah, he's a 2 guard.
Conley's the one. He's a 2.
I might have to say Ant until I can find another.
I can't argue with that.
Isn't
Shay's playing Shay's playing more point guard this year.
You can put him in either position,
but he can play either. I would take Ant over Shea, even if they were in the same position at this point. I think Ant has face of the league potential, like been going, but right now, Ant. So I'm trying to think if I'm missing someone. But I'm going Ant
right now.
I feel like I'm missing
over Booker. Taking him over Booker. I'm taking him over.
Yeah, Booker ain't even he ain't even in the stadium, fam.
Oh, bro, are we one of the weakest eras of shooting guards that we can remember? Because
Hey, we might
when you
be,
think
bro.
about it, it's hard to actually think of anyone right now.
Real, I can't even think of a list.
Yeah, because point guard and wings. It's a point guard wing league. So it's I'm going Ant for 2 guard.
And how you feeling, my man?
I was trying to look it up, man, because I'm like, when you put me on the spot, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking, like, God damn. Like, who?
Spider Mitchell
Like,
Robinson?
Yeah, I was thinking about him too, but I was like, man, I didn't want to pick the same one that everybody was saying, but I'm like, man, it's got to be Ant, bro.
There's got to be Ant, right?
It's got to be. There's some other really good characters like Mitchell, but it's like players like Mitchell, but I'm just like, man.
And is out here looking like the second coming of Kobe, man. Not saying he'll ever be that, but I'm just saying.
I love Ant. I've
the way he patterns his game. It's like it gives me flashes, man. So I love.
He's a throwback player. He's got that old school vibe to him. And
my guy said Jaylen Brown.
I love Jaylen Brown. But
I like him better though.
Can't go left. Playoff time. So I'm going. Oh man, I love you guys. Know I love Jaylen Brown. I hate the fact that he's one of my favorite players in the league because I think he just adds so much to that team. That he doesn't get credit for. But I'm still taking Ant because at the end of if I'm talking the best 2 guard in the league, at the end of the game, the ball's in Tatum's hand, not his. Ant's gonna have the ball in his hands. He's gonna decide what to do with it, but I'll take Ant.
And today, I think that's the general consensus as well. So, man, back-to-back general consensus. All right, small forward. We might get a little controversial with this. With small forward, you got Giannis. I still consider him a small forward, even though he could play the power forward. You got LeBron James. Now, the reason I consider Giannis a small forward is he could be a playmaker as well, right? He's not just a post-up guy. He's a transition bucket getter. He's a point forward, so I put him at the small forward to go in between, wedge in between.
Giannis is a 3. Okay. Oh man, that changes everything because I got him as a 4.
I would have put him as a 4 as well.
Yeah.
All right, so if y'all want to put him at the 4, that's fine. Remove him.
No, if that's the criteria, because again, it's just the criteria we're judging on. If you're setting the criteria that you're putting him as a 3, I'm going Giannis. But if the criteria is what his real position is, then I'm not going to go.
Okay. Don't put him at the small forward.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So because he is I would whatever position Giannis is playing, Giannis. You know what I mean? I'm taking him.
For real.
3's tough because a lot of the premier 3s are starting to age out here.
Yeah, you got LeBron, you got Kawhi.
Right,
you got Kevin Durant,
Tatum.
Yeah.
I don't know why there's balloons
with Jason Tatum.
How the hell did that? What happened before? How did that happen? What did you did that last time?
So when I did the finger signals, it has a mind of its own.
It's your birthday, Dan?
Dan's gonna have one of the most gangster moments on his channel ever. He's gonna like flip someone off or do something gangster, and like confetti and balloons are gonna come out. The 3s, because that's one of the primary most important positions.
You got Jimmy Butler, you got Tatum. Yeah, Tatum is a 3.
You got Tatum. I might roll with Tatum, but still got LeBron in there, and LeBron's still putting them numbers up. So that's
man.
Tatum a 3 or a 4 this year? Is he playing more? He's let's say for the sake of argument, Tatum's a 3. He splits a lot. So let's say I don't want to move 2 guys. So let's say Tatum's a 3 because happy birthday, Dan. That's hilarious. Oh my God. This is tough because Kawhi's having an incredible year. But I'm gonna go Tatum.
Yeah. Tatum. I'm going Tatum too, but I think you could maybe make an argument for a few other players if it's playoff time, for especially I think you could maybe make that argument too. But I think right now it's Tatum.
Damn, that's
like
tough.
For example, if we're going to consider LeBron in that criteria, I think I would like playoff LeBron.
For sure.
That's why I was leaning. I still might have to give it to LeBron because if it's like we need to win one game, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going LeBron.
Let me go on and get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, criteria matters. Are we talking about who's playing at the best player at that position this season?
I just think that his overall position for his career is small forward. That's where he's played most of his career. So that's where I'm going to judge him in. And the players are still playing today. So I'm going to put LeBron at small forward. And I'm taking him for sure. Just versatility. Like Tatum's a better scorer now, right? As far as like a face-up guy who can get you a bucket. But if we're talking about just overall game, I got to go LeBron, man. Overall. All right. Power forward. I think we know Jeff's answer.
Boy Giannis.
I agree. Giannis. Yeah, it's Giannis.
Giannis, that's an easy one, huh?
Yeah,
does anybody come close right now at the top?
AD's having a monster year.
Yeah,
AD's having a monster year.
And because if Milwaukee called me and said I'll give you Giannis for AD, I'm not hanging up that phone. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. No. I get you.
Tell me you don't want Reeves as well. You know, that's gonna be you know what I'm saying? What else do I have to throw in to make this trade happen? Am I being frank?
I'll send one of the bus children. Take them.
Hey, whatever you got to do, man.
One less person to pay, more money for the Lakers, man. Let's go. But yeah, Giannis at the 4.
All right, center, man, best center in the game right now, and I think I know what you guys are gonna say. He can't jump over a phone book though, but I think I know what you guys are gonna say.
You can't go wrong with either one of them.
Let me see my center there. Ooh, yeah, the top 2.
So you can't go wrong with either one of them.
The list get dry after those 2, man.
Yeah. It's again, technically AD is a center. So let's man, I gotta go Joker right now slightly because of his availability. I'm going. Oh, that's it. But even though Joel gives him that work whenever they play, like he bodies him, man. But I'm gonna go Joker.
Yeah. I double that.
Man, I cannot stand his fat ass, but I gotta go Jokic.
Do the voice.
I gotta go with Jokic just because even though he cares more about GOATs, he is putting up the numbers, and he consistently is putting his money where his mouth is when the matchups happen, right? So that's the only reason why I was ready for AD to overtake him in the Western Conference Finals, but then that didn't happen. So you gotta give it to old fat boy Jokic.
He's just such a good player, man. I don't know, man.
He's just so good.
He's good for no reason either.
I don't like that he's so good. I don't like it that he's so good. He's just freaking good. Like
step back shots, clutch shots. It's like, man.
I want to know what type of witchcraft he did because he just flicks shit up there, bro. The form don't even look good. Like, and it goes in.
The entire time he's on the basketball court, he's not looking up at the shot clock he's looking up at the time left in the game so he can go home. Like he doesn't even want to be there and he's killing people. Like it's just crazy, dude. Like he's on the bench, like he's not looking at stats. He's requesting an Uber like halfway through the fourth quarter, man. He just wants to get out of there.
Yeah, everything he does looks so effortless, man.
Yeah,
man. His post-game interviews, bro. Those always
like him and Luka, bro. You know they both smoke cigarettes and drink warm beer at halftime. Like you just know what happens, bro. Like it's just.
They'd be asking him after the game. So Jokic, how did it feel to hit that game winner? He'll be like, I do not know what this is right now.
When he first got here, and they would interview him, they would ask like a really long question, and he'd be like, "What?" Repeat the whole thing again. My god,
he just got gifted, bro. That's all it is. But that's gonna wrap it up, guys, for this episode of Around the League. Man, I had a blast. Thanks so much to our guest, Donnie, aka D Free.
Donnie in the building.
Listen, I'm gonna let you shout yourself out, bro. Let the people know what you got going on and all of that.
Yeah, I don't really do this type of content, but if you guys are interested in any gaming, anime-based stuff like that, you might probably notice I got the figures and stuff back there. That's mainly what I do. So you can follow me at DFree, as it says on the little thing right there. But that's pretty much it, man.
Hey, my guy was awesome, right? He killed it.
He's incredible. Let me hit him with the.
It
was great. It was great.
Come on, man.
We're gonna have him back because he was that good.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're welcome to come back whenever. All right, my guy Mies, go ahead and shout yourself out, man. He just dropped a video. Go check him out. Go ahead, Mies.
Hey, man. First of all, salute to my bros, man. They own your boy, man, and for that, your boy Mies is gonna go hard in the paint, man. The content is coming, man. It's coming, man. Love my bros, man. Mies the GM, you know what it is. But this is about the guest, man. This is about my bro right here, D Free, man. And because you a guest and you shut it down, you get the double flex from me. That's all I got. I don't throw him out all willy nilly, man. You get the double flex from me.
Let me throw a third one on there for my guy.
Come on, man. Put him in the chat, man, for your boy, man. Come on.
Yep. Real nice, man. Real nice. Absolutely, man. Jeff, we know you got a lot of stuff going on, man. Go ahead, shout yourself out, my brother.
Oh, man. Real quick, Donnie, incredible, man. I know you say you don't do this kind of content, but you're a natural, man. I'm a fan off top. You were incredible. Very, very good. I'm impressed, man. You killed it.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Great job.
He does this kind of content now, ladies and
gentlemen.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. I'm constantly impressed with Dan and Mies on the regular. You guys know that. Constantly impressed with the chat. But you know where to find me, man, over at EmpireJeffTV, man. Dropped a pretty good video last night. Go check it out. My best video to date, volume-wise. So appreciate everyone who tuned in on that, man. Thank you guys. I know when the Lakers are struggling, we kind of collectively unite here and like just all of us with each other shows all the support and all everything. So shout out to that, man. Make sure to check over Dan over there at Playback TV, man. He's calling the game tomorrow night, so definitely get over there and check that out. All the other games that he's going to be covering, man. And Mies, man, more Mies, please. More me's, please. We need that, man. Shout out to Search and all the mods in the building, man. Thank you to everyone for the super chats. We greatly appreciate you guys. But tonight, like I said, Donnie, man, you killed it. You wrecked it. I'll give up my spot for you anytime if you want to come and kick it over here in the full, man. So,
hey, listen, I'm no longer the host, man. Donnie, take over, man. This is your show now. Good shit, brother.
Well, you know what? With that being said, I think the first thing I would like to do is we're gonna kick Dan out the show.
Oh,
he's gone.
Done, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Hey, thank you guys so much for tapping in, chat. You guys are the best in the building. And by the way, I think my guy Jeff forgot to mention. I don't know, maybe it slipped. He is now officially on playback.
Oh, yeah. I actually did. Yeah. It's still kind of coming together, guys. So Playback TV, following the great footsteps of Dan, the Laker fan. Lakers Nations, Lakers Fast Break, everyone that's making their way over to that great platform for great content. So support all your content creators over there, man. Dan, like I said, everyone we said, because like I said, we are a community that supports each other. So it's important that you guys support all of us because it's important. That's what we do this for. We are better together. And when one of us wins, we all win. Most importantly, when the Lakers win, we all win. But at the end of the day, like we are a very supportive community. We support everyone through and through, and that's what it is. So it's like everyone has their different channels, different content, but like Dan says, once or twice a week we form together like the Avengers and we come here and we do this stuff. But yeah, Playback TV, my first game will be tomorrow night against the Boston Celtics. So like I said, go back and forth between Dan's or check with Dan's, pop with me at halftime, vice versa. Support everyone, guys, because everyone's putting in a lot of time over here. Dan the GOAT over here, man. So I come from the Dan the Laker fan coaching tree, man. So you know what I'm saying. So shout out to Dan and shout out to everyone, man. Greatly appreciate you. And shout out to my brother Lo for that back-to-back double cash app and for holding it down with me on the show last night. Make sure to check out Lakers Over Everything and also check him on a Bleacher Report, man. Shout out our brother.
Absolutely. Doing his Doug Thizzle, man. Appreciate you, LOE. Much love, brother.
Shout out Chris, man. We missed you, Chris. Shout out Chris. We'll see you next one, man.
All righty, guys. Hey, the family continues to grow. The latest edition killed it tonight. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. That's going to wrap it up for us here at Around the League. Another classic banger episode. See you guys next week. All right. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Peace.
Dame's going to kill y'all tonight, Portland.